Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution. I am Chris and this is Jeremy. We welcome you to the big show. I believe in a lot of scenarios we are having more fun than you.
Absolutely.
Right?
I believe that 100%.
I think we're having more fun.
Yes.
We have a show for you today that is going to be the show of all shows. Jeremy's going to talk about how you can sell more maintenance, which is fascinating. His stuff on that is so good. You're not going to want to miss that. We have questions from the guest, and we're doing a new segment here. We're going to have a friend, Don Rito, read the questions. You're going to want to see that. It's going to be a little different than probably what you think, but I'm excited about it. You're nervous about it. I'm excited about it.
I'm not nervous about it.
The crew is really nervous about it. Russo over there is going to have a heart attack. I have an update on my mission for the $100,000 assistant, which is going to involve tequila.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Yep, we're going to day drink coming up.
Nice. I need a designated driver this afternoon.
A new segment that we're going to introduce called Terms You Should Know. So, jam-packed. But first, off of the top of the show, we need to read the comp winners for last month. These are the top service advisors and managers in our software. We call it Top Dog Underground. And these advisors, out of hundreds and hundreds of advisors, they were the top advisors in total sales, in customer satisfaction. Some of the groups have effective labor rate, some don't. But 5 or 6 different categories of performance. And these were the top. Now, the managers are graded on their average advisor's performance.
Got it.
So that's how the managers win. So for the American group, the top manager was John Wayne.
Nice.
Back from the dead.
Absolutely.
John Wayne. In second place was the Grand Master. For the advisors, Uncle Rich was number 1. Good job, Uncle Rich. Mama was number 2. The Closer was number 3. Shade was number 4. And Pitbull was number 5. So good job, everybody in the American group. Japanese group, Chief Grady was the top manager. Second place, what would you call that, the bridesmaid? The bridesmaid in the Japanese group was Al Capone, back from the dead. A lot of people are coming back from the dead.
A lot of different names in there.
Top advisor in the Japanese group was Thorny. Good job, Thorny. Second place, or what we call the bridesmaid, Foster. Third place, Lucky Luciano. Fourth place, Carlitos. And fifth place, Judd's mom. In the Highline group, again, nobody could beat him, it seems like, or not very often. The Monster. Good job, Monster. Hope you're not too cold there. He's an elite. He's in the elite member of managers and obviously a very high performer. Top advisor from a different store, though. This store is in Virginia. Jay White. Good job, Jay White. Top second place of the bridesmaid, Rover Dog, and third place in Highline was Original Spock. No Mo. Where's Mo? Mo, you're slacking. What's going on?
Took a vacation.
Yeah. Then top manager in the Euro and Highline group, The Grip. Top advisor, Amish Gangster.
Nice.
Good job, Mitchell. Bam Bam is the bridesmaid, and New Spock is third place. New Spock is from San Diego. Bam Bam is from Los Angeles. And then in the Canadian group, Maverick, elite member and assassin, $50,000 challenge winner, Maverick. And first place advisors, Wolfman. Second place is Slider. And then in the Asian Zing group, Baseball Bill is first place. P is first place advisor, and the Mad German is the bridesmaid. So good job, you guys, in the comp. Super proud of you. Keep it up. Let's have some fun this month.
Which we're going to be getting some independence in on the
we
comp.
When you launch, which is coming up, Jeremy is launching advisor training, and then we're going to launch a syndicate for independent shops. And Jeremy, we should do a comp.
Absolutely.
So in this one, we give away about $8,000 in prizes every month. So we'll have to figure out some prize money and how we're going to
Hey,
do
I
that.
don't need my tools anymore, so I could give away some Snap-on tools.
Like you win a wrench.
Yeah, I mean,
Every month we can announce like.
well, I lose
you
my
win
10mm socket every week, so I could just give that away. It won't be like I'm missing it or anything.
Is that the one you use the most?
Crescent wrench is my favorite tool.
Crescent wrench?
No, it's not. I don't even have one in my toolbox.
Doesn't even make sense. Okay,
correct.
so you heard the episode. You weren't here. I don't know. Where were you? You were busy doing something.
Snowboarding. We had some snow in the mountains.
So Jeremy's too busy snowboarding.
Yep.
If you could be this good looking and life came to you this easy, you don't have to work and do this sort of stuff. You go snowboarding. How many days did you go snowboarding?
Well, until my son broke his collarbone, we were going like 3-4 times a week.
Did he have to get airlifted off the...
No, but I picked him up, and it was my fault because it was...
You pushed him?
Well, my wife said to pick him up at 9, so I show up at like 8:55, and he's there, and I say, hey, do you guys want to do one more run? So they go do another run. And then they came down, and I was doing something. I'm like, hey, do one more. So it was on that run that he broke his collarbone. So my wife doesn't know that yet, so it's my fault that he actually broke his collarbone. Because if
How
I
did
had
your
followed...
wife not know that your son broke his collarbone?
Well, no, she doesn't know that I let him go on 2 additional runs. So if I had
And she
picked him-
doesn't listen to the show.
No.
Oh, so we're safe.
Yeah, we're safe. So
So that's so funny. I did an
Sorry.
episode because I was having a hard time here getting stuff done in the office. Like I have, do you ever feel like I have a lot of people, but I get very little done?
Yeah.
And so I actually have a list in my Trello
okay.
and I think that I can't cuss on this, right, Michael? Stuff
Right.
that I've had to ask for more than twice.
Okay.
And it's a long list.
That's painful.
Because I spend a lot of time following up on stuff when what I want is people to come to me and go, okay, that thing, this is what happened, even if it hasn't happened. I just want to know they're trying, something's happening, right? So I did a whole rant. I'm sure you heard it. And I said I would pay $100,000 a year if I could get somebody that would just get stuff done, right?
Absolutely.
And so a bunch of people have been applying, but so far, and I'm interviewing this kid. His name is Nick. There's his resume if you want to look at it.
Hello, Nick.
So
Great job
Nick,
for getting noticed.
Nick paid attention. He found a tequila that I love, but I've never had. So I've never had this one.
That is.
I have
Just
the
a
other one. So this is
beautiful
Dos
bottle.
Artes limited edition. These bottles are numbered. So this is bottle 1061 out of 2000.
Wow.
So it's a numbered limited edition. If you're listening to this, you should go to YouTube and watch it because the bottle of this tequila is art. And then he heard me griping about how I want Essentia water whenever I check into a hotel. You probably don't, when you travel, you don't have all these kind of prima donna demands, do you?
Oh, no, I just drink tap water no matter where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a whole list of things that I want when I go somewhere.
Something for me to aspire to.
I'm a pain in the ass, basically, which people will tell you. But have you ever tried this tequila that I have, the brand of this, but not this one?
No, I typically don't drink during the day.
We're drinking during the day, Jeremy. Your maintenance, the thing you're going to teach them about how to sell more maintenance will be way better after a drink.
Oh, okay.
You'll loosen up.
I'm a little scared here.
Why are you scared?
Well, oh my gosh.
We're just doing a little.
Look at the
We're doing a
color
little
on
sip
that.
here.
That
So
is
I'm
amazing.
pouring this into sifters. Here you go, boys. Russo, will you come get this for Michael?
If I fall out of my chair, please forgive me.
And then that one's yours. Really, are you that much of a lightweight?
No.
You know what though? I haven't been drinking. But hey, Nicholas, thank you so much for this gift.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to enjoy it, and I look forward to interviewing you here coming up. Really nice touch. These little things matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a big deal. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, Nick. What do you guys think? Smells good. Should we just forget about the show today and just drink now? You know
No,
the
but
boys-
I am gonna
you know
make.
what-
I'm gonna have a few more sips during the show.
you know
That
what
is
the boys
really
are trying
good.
to get me to do. Have you ever done any kind of hallucinogenic?
Oh,
They're trying to get me to do mushrooms and go to an art gallery.
I'll drive you guys.
I've never
I'll
done
be the
any,
designated
I've never
driver.
done anything like that.
I'll be the designated driver.
No, I'm not doing it. There's no way.
Just say no.
Yeah,
It's all
there's no
good.
way. But these young kids, they're doing hallucinogenics and playing Xbox and
Vaping?
vaping. Yeah, they vape like crazy. Have you ever vaped?
No.
They're vaping constantly.
Yeah, all the time.
Doesn't that give you popcorn lungs?
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, now Jeremy's hitting the sauce.
Yeah.
Woo! I can't wait till we get to your maintenance.
Oh, that's good.
Okay,
Nick, thank you.
In the news, Jeremy,
We should be wearing gas masks today.
why is that?
Coronavirus?
Oh, the coronavirus. So they are shutting down a couple factories
Need some help with that?
in
you guys?
China. Yeah, well, this thing isn't exactly built for me to be able to bend over down.
So I have a theory on this. So wait, you just said they're shutting down some factories in China.
Yeah.
I think Trump's behind all this.
Oh, tell me this conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, think about it, right? If we didn't have factories in China and the factories are here in the United States, we wouldn't have to shut down production because of the coronavirus.
Make America great again?
Make America great again.
So do you think that the CIA planted the coronavirus?
That's confidential, sir. That's
So you
top
have
secret.
inside knowledge that the coronavirus was created by the CIA to cripple the Chinese economy, to make Tesla's stock go down.
Would it go
and-
down like 20% in one day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, because everything's closed, right?
Yeah.
So you have this on good knowledge that that's what happened.
I have some undisclosed sources that, yeah. So
Really?
I believe Trump's behind all this.
So
Absolutely.
you don't think that the coronavirus came from a market where they were serving wild game meat?
Well, of course, but the CIA injected that virus into
That meat.
Yes, absolutely,
You think so?
for sure.
Wow.
Eh,
This is news.
It is
This
breaking
is a
news. Breaking
service-
news here.
This
on
is a service drive
Revolution.
show, and
Yeah.
we're breaking national news.
Breaking national news.
That the coronavirus started by the
Well,
CIA.
But think about the economic ramifications. If we can get all these factories back to the United States and get, I don't know who we're going to get to work in the factories, but if we get better paying jobs for Americans, it's going to bolster our economy. And then Trump will win a second term and be president again for another 4 years. And America will be great once again.
Because it's great now.
Yes.
You
Great
know,
term.
okay, so this is not a political show by any means.
So did I just cross
And
a line?
You and I, no, not at all. So I always say this to people because people say don't talk about religion or politics,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always like, why? You could change my mind. Like I'm not so set on anything.
Yeah, but you kind of have an open mind on that stuff then, right? Because there
Right,
are
but
some.
you don't want to talk politics or religion with somebody who doesn't have an open mind because
Correct.
they're like they've been listening to too much Glenn Beck or whatever, that they're just stuck in their weird Fox News thing and they don't understand that that's all propaganda.
So is that where when we pet the dog, right? So we go out and do the walk around on the car, you turn the radio on and whatever they're listening to, you tag it in their database so you know which type of customer you're dealing with.
That's genius.
It
I never
is,
thought
right?
of that.
I'm
That's
just-
what you do. You turn on the
light-
radio and if they're on
Yes.
NPR,
Absolutely.
Then-
yes. You change your selling style.
well, when I used to write service for Subaru, every car was on NPR.
Of
There
course.
was never a Subaru where you got in and it was on ESPN or
Right.
even though I don't know that we had ESPN back then, but there was never on the local sports radio. But by the way, when I was a kid growing up, sports radio in Seattle was amazing.
Okay.
Sports radio here in LA is terrible.
Well-
It's all syndicated stuff. But then we had local guys that talked about the Mariners, the Seahawks. We had the Sonics.
Yep.
We had a basketball team. Okay, so back to politics though.
Well, we're way
so
off
you
topic.
said make America great again, but the one thing about that I kind of agree with is the Democrats for a long time, even Republicans to a degree would say, well, we just need to admit and accept the fact that we're not the leader in the world anymore and that China is growing so fast they're going to overtake us. And I agree with the idea that no, they're growing on our money
Right.
The trade deficit's huge.
Absolutely.
There's no reason why we can't still be the best. Why would we just give up?
Correct. We
Like,
shouldn't give up.
yeah. So
We have to bring it back.
I don't. Now I don't support your idea that you go give them the coronavirus or whatever you did.
Wait, how are you pinning that on me?
Well, I mean, it's clear that you think it's a good idea. I personally don't think that it's a good idea, but
Just in case you're wondering where I've been for the past few months, I've been over in China planting with
the
the
snowboarding was a lie.
It was, yes. It was a cover.
Yeah, I think America's great. What other country would you want to live in? Like, honestly, how lucky are we?
I love where I live. I'm not moving.
I don't know about politics. Like, I don't know the whole. I don't think that the Democrats can beat Trump at this point.
I would agree with that.
Their whole impeachment thing and all that. I don't think that went over very well, personally.
And the views expressed on the show are strictly the opinions of the guest on the show, and not
Why do you
necessarily.
have to say that? It's
a disclaimer.
For what?
Just in case somebody
cares?
took something the wrong
They don't
way.
care what we say.
gonna
I would think that most of the people listening to this show are in the middle like we are. I'm not extreme either way, but I'm a capitalist. There's no way I'm for socialism whatsoever.
Well, there's a trickle-down effect too, though, right? So most of the people listening to this show are busy doing their thing, like making their livelihood, making their living. So if you're a service advisor, service manager at a dealership or an independent shop, your day is filled with work, right? So realistically, what's happening in China, is it going to affect how many cars come into your drive? Is it going to affect your car count? Is it going to affect how many hours per RO you get? At some point, it could. I think this is kind of
to that point too, and that's a good point. But really, can you control it either way? There's things you can control and things you can't. Focus on the things you can control.
correct.
Because there's a lot of waste.
Yeah, we can't control it, but I think right now is the time to be really smart and get prepared for some of the things that could be coming.
Yeah. Are you a good tipper?
Absolutely.
You are?
For good service, yes.
What do you, when you travel around for housekeeping, what do you tip the housekeeper?
Oh, at the hotels and stuff?
Yeah.
$20 bill.
Each day?
No, for like $5 a day is typical.
$5 a day? Do you put the $5 every day or 20 at the end?
At the end.
Oh, so I do it every day.
You do? Okay. Maybe I'll try that.
Well, because I can't assume it's the same person every day.
That's true. I never thought of that.
But I do $5 too. So this car dealer is giving the automotive industry a good name. Aaron Bosch, he's a billionaire, tipped $5,000 on a $157 bill because Donnie Wahlberg started this hashtag called #2020 Tipping Challenge. It's a viral tipping challenge to see who can tip the most. This guy might be winning. I don't know. But I would encourage you to tip $5,000
$5,000 on a how
every
big
time you
one?
go out to eat.
Well, we are close to Hollywood, so
Did you ever get out of a restaurant for $157 with all your kids and family?
sometimes Red
When you
Robin
go to
every
the
now and then.
Red Robin or the Cracker Barrel?
Oh, there he goes. Bringing up Cracker Barrel again. Yeah.
What
I've been
was
there
that?
since we went
What
there.
was the
Mama's
thing that-
Kitchen or whatever it was.
When we went to the Cracker Barrel, Jeremy ordered something. It was called like Mama's something. And then literally the next day I read that that's the worst thing you can order in a restaurant.
It is. It had every piece of fat on the planet on that plate.
So can we encourage you to tip more?
We can't. Speaking of that, you're going to be in Vegas this week at NADA, aren't you?
I am not going to NADA.
What are you talking about?
You've never heard because you go to events a lot, right?
Come on,
You've
NADA.
never heard my theory on NADA?
This is there's so many leads there. That's like prime ground for you to pick up business. I can't
Hey,
believe
we're
you're not gonna
selling
be
plenty
there.
of business. We're doing good, but I'm not NADA. So for years, I did NADA. I would have a booth there, and then I was a speaker there. When you speak there, they tell you what to do. So they said you can't talk about Tesla. They tried to get me to take Satan out of my pet the dog story.
Which
they
why would
micromanage you.
Yeah.
The last time I did it, I did 4 workshops for them. One of the workshops I did with Gary, who used to do this with me. So we did one on gamification.
Okay.
And we did one on something to do with service departments. I forget. I went when we were done or whatever. First of all, they were turning people away from the workshop. So they set up the rooms wrong. They told us beforehand that we were going to be in this interactive room.
Right.
The room wasn't set up right when we got there. Then so all the things that they made us do, they weren't even organized enough to whatever. They don't pay you to do this, by the way.
Correct.
So you pay $100,000 to have a booth, and it's all union. It's a huge pain in the butt. They're the most. It's like they hired the worst factory people to run NADA. They're not dealers. There's no dealers running NADA. It's a convention for profit. They could care less about the people. Most of the people that come to your booth, it's vendor on vendor crime.
So what you're saying is it should be labeled the National Communists Against Dealer Profits.
They don't, like, I remember arguing with them about taking Tesla out, and they're, well, that's not a popular subject with the dealers. And I said, but it's real. It's the elephant in the room. And I'm kind of a guy that tells the truth. No, like, and I was like, you guys, anyways, long story short, the last time I did NADA, and I said, I'll never do it again unless they pay me to do it, but I'm never going there and giving them my money. I got very little business out of it. And I led the attendance of all the workshops except for one workshop where I was literally up against a panel with Penske. I think Peyton Manning was speaking or something. It was the last day, and I still had a full room, but they had an auditorium that had a bigger speaker than me. But on the other three, my workshops led in attendance.
Right.
I led those 3 days. Not so much as a thank you, not so much as a good job. Nobody said anything.
So the user experience will.
I go into their like little weird speaker like green room, and I asked them to see the attendance thing, and they show me. Like, it's ridiculous. NADA is a joke.
Okay,
honestly.
so sorry
Their
about that.
attendance is down every year anyways.
So
They don't
NADA is
have
off
a
the
clue.
table.
No.
Okay.
Anybody at NADA, if you ever want advice on how to make your convention actually help dealers be profitable and not just collect all the money from people buying booths, let me know. But you know your attendance is down. I don't know. Every year it seems like they have a new president. It's a joke.
Okay. So no big
Are you sorry you asked?
I am now, but no big tips in Vegas this week. That's off
Big tips. What do you
the
mean?
table. 2020 hashtag tipping.
Okay, I'm excited about this next one. Are you as excited as I am?
I'm stoked about this one. I need another taste of this tequila for this one.
Okay, now we're going to go to your questions. Understand, everybody who sends in questions that we actually read on the show, we're going to send you swag. We send you a Service Drive Revolution coffee mug, a hat. You get a hat. And,
I like the hats, by the way.
Stickers and other stuff.
Absolutely, very nice.
Oh, a T-shirt so you can wear it with pride. Let's go to your questions. So everybody, please welcome our special guest. He's out of prison. We're doing a thing here, Jeremy, where we're hiring people out of prison. trying to put them back to work.
Rehabilitation?
Rehabilitation.
Oh my gosh.
He went to prison for selling maintenance that customers didn't need.
Oh my gosh, I heard about this guy.
This is embezzlement. White collar crime. Don Rito, everybody please welcome Don to the show. How you doing, Don?
I'm doing good, Chris. I love your beard.
Thank you. Your hat's falling off there, Don.
As you can see, my entire body is a beard. It's very unmanageable, but I appreciate the beard oil you sent me for Christmas. It was lovely.
You're welcome.
The hat was a good touch, but it's gone now.
It's gone. The hat fell off.
Sorry, Don Rito, you're gonna have to go without it.
That's okay.
So, Don, do we have some good questions today?
Oh, we have the best questions this week. You want me to read them?
Please.
All right. This first question comes from Instagram. Username Silwanifer.
Silwanifer.
I don't understand what language that is, but it is in English. Chris, love the podcast. Every day extra with Gary is a blessing. Quick background. I work as a domestic manufacturer representative for after-sales parts and service. My occupation's focus is to be more consultative to my group of dealerships. I am 24 years old, and I am relatively new to the industry. What recommendations do you have for manufacturer reps, pitfalls, qualities of successful reps, how to foster strong relationships with the fixed ops department, etc. I am trying to become a better student of the industry and look to you and your podcast on ways I can do that. I've read your book, Gamification, and am currently reading Extreme Ownership. I am a huge fan of the podcast, and your self-made episode was a huge inspiration for me on taking the next step in my personal and professional life. I get you probably get waves of messages all the time, so if you can't get to my question, no worries. Appreciate the podcast and everything you guys do. Keep killing it! Exclamation point.
Awesome. No, that's a good question. You have some Service Drive Revolution swag coming your way. So basically, the question here, Don, is he's a factory guy. How can he relate to his dealers in a way that's constructive, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes me kind of think of two things. So at one point, I had a bunch of BMW clients. Like, I don't know, there were 15 of them that were in a group here in Southern California, and BMW, the factory, had an agenda that they wanted all of the dealers to be on the software program called MPI, which was an inspection thing, right? So I'd had some dealers on it, but it seemed like every time I'd go into a dealership that was on that program, I would have to get rid of it because it didn't work and their numbers would go down. So it actually would drive, even though it was a digital inspection system, the hours per hour would go down. And the nice people at MPI had reached out to me, and I told them a couple of times, if you guys want to pay me, I'll tell you how to fix your software, but there's some flaws in it, right? But long story short, two people from the factory at BMW, and one guy, his name was Kevin, and I'd had run-ins with him when I ran Crevier, because we had this weird conversation where we built a building, and he came in, and he was new to the facilities part of it, so he was the one that signed off that your facility was okay. Right. And he's arguing with me that it's not BMW white, the walls aren't BMW white. And we got the swatch like up against the thing. It's exactly we followed everything to the letter, but the guy is colorblind or something. He's like, I'm not signing off on it, but we got his boss out, and they signed off on it because he was crazy. But anyways, he then was in something to do with fixed ops. And this other guy who used to be the shop foreman for Vicky was now a factory guy in service. So these two guys call me out to their headquarters here on the West Coast, the BMW headquarters. And so they call me in. I go through. I'm saying hi to everybody I know there. And they get me in this conference room. And I'm on one side of the conference table, and they're on the other side. Right. This is a long table. And I think like they're going to say, hey, how do we get our stores to perform like yours? But guess what? That was not what they were going to say. So they told me, hey, Buster, we have a problem with you, blah, blah, blah. You're keeping MPI from going in all these stores because all these dealers tell us, well, you got to talk to Chris Collins. Nice. And so I wasn't going to spend $5,000 a month on something that made their numbers go down, right? So long story short, I said, here's the problem, you guys. It's not that I'm trying to mess up your agenda from the top that everybody has to be on this program, whether it works or not. It's just the agenda. Nobody's actually seen numbers go up. Mm-hmm. But I said, let me ask you a question. What's the average net to gross in the average service department in the Western region? And the one guy, Kurt, says 1%. And then Kevin says, no, I don't know that that's right or whatever. I'm like, well, what is it? You guys don't even know. So first of all, they have no clue what the net to gross is for the service departments whatsoever. Right. But I'm hired to produce net to gross. Mm-hmm. So I just said, listen, the thing is your agenda and my agenda are in conflict with each other. And it doesn't make me bad. It's just I'm there to create net to gross. Correct. And you don't care. You could care less about their net to gross. Hence, you don't know what it is. Right. Ends up, my average client was 30 times higher than the average net to gross in the Western region.
So they wanted to bring them down to reality.
They want to sell parts, and they want, right? So the best that I know out there, and they're not really a factory, they're a distributor, is Southeast Toyota. Southeast Toyota, so they're a distributor for Toyota, but they kind of act as the factory in the Southeast, so Florida, Georgia, all Carolinas. Yes. They are by far and away the best I've ever seen. That's what I would model myself after because they grade themselves on the profitability of their clients.
Oh, wow.
No other manufacturer. Like,
Nice.
ask a factory guy what's the net to gross, and none of them ever know. But they know. Like, they care about the success, and a lot of times the feeling that I've always had when I owned a dealership or when I ran a dealership was the factory begrudged us for making money.
Correct.
They were like, you guys make enough money. Why can't you just do these stupid ideas that we have, right? And so to make a very long-winded answer, get in line with the profitability of the department or the dealership you're serving, not the flavor of the month. Because everybody knows the factories come out with a new thing every year and a new agenda, but it doesn't always benefit the dealer.
Yeah, and I know for me as an owner, when reps show up and they have their own agenda, and they don't even know about my business, they don't even know about my staff, they don't even know what we're going through. You've got to take a personal interest in the success of your client. You're absolutely right, and show up and be there for their agenda, not your own personal factory-driven agenda.
Good job, Don. Do you have another question?
Oh, yeah, we got another question. This one comes from Jordan, who is a person and not the country. Hey, Chris, I have been an advisor for about 10 years. I worked at multiple dealers and have experience with many different brands. Currently, I am at a Lexus store. My question to you is, what is your opinion on calling a customer by their first name or last name? I prefer the first name because I feel like it makes a better connection. But out of respect, sometimes I feel like the last name is better. Any help would be appreciated. Thanks.
Do you have an opinion on this? First name versus last name?
Depends on where you're at. If you're in South Central Los Angeles, it's, yo, what's up? How can I help with your ride today?
So it's relative to the part of country. So what in Canada, what do you say? Sorry?
Eh?
No, you just say sorry.
Sorry? Is that,
They're always saying sorry.
they're always saying sorry. Okay.
What do you say? What do you say in North Dakota?
I'm lost. I have no idea. Do you have another jacket because it's
Well, I thought
freezing
you
up
were going
here?
to like a Fargo thing. No, so the answer, Don, I think to that question, and I remember doing this when I was an advisor, is just would you like me to call you Chris or Mr. Collins? Just ask.
Absolutely. Another great one is to offer your name and shake their hand or however you do that and just ask them, I didn't catch your name and you are, and then they'll tell you their name and then use the name they gave you.
Yeah, because older customers will say, I'm
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith or
Yes,
whatever, right?
absolutely.
So I think that asking is a nice touch, Don. It shows respect, and then they will direct you.
Absolutely.
And it's weird because you can really get in trouble with that one because some people that are, I know billionaires that want to be called by their first name, and I know people that are broke as a joke that want to be called Mr. Thompson or whatever. So it really depends on the person and how they were raised and what their idea of respect is. But ask. It's a great question, but I would just ask up front. Good job.
Absolutely. We got some swag coming your way.
Anything else, Don? Are you feeling okay?
I'm just happy to be here. That's it for the questions this week, Chris.
Okay, you gonna drink some tequila?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I've been drinking since 8 a.m.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, Chris.
Thanks, Don. Good job. Give Don a hand. Now we're gonna go to a section I like to call Terms You Should Know.
Terms you should know.
Retention.
Retention.
What does retention mean? Do you know the formula for retention? ¿Qué es la fórmula por retención?
All I know is it's my trust fund.
You're a trust fund? You're a rich uncle?
Absolutely.
You call it trust fund, I call it rich uncle?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
What is the formula for retention?
I don't know. Educate me, please.
It's how many of your customers come back.
Okay.
So are you retaining those customers? So
Yep.
in the independent world, it would be if somebody comes in, how many of those customers come in a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth time?
Yep.
In the dealership world, it would be if you sold a car, how many of those do you get in? In a lot of scenarios, even when they have free maintenance, in the dealership world, they lose retention by the fourth or fifth one, they're down to 25%.
That low.
So they're saying that I would rather pay $80 at Jiffy Lube for an oil change than to come into the dealership. Sad.
And there's a number of reasons for that, but that is a. So
You owning an independent shop would. What do you think those reasons are?
Well, I think number one is convenience. I think a lot of times the amount of time it takes to get the vehicle in for service, sometimes the location of the dealership isn't as close to the work or to home as possible. So convenience is probably number one. The other thing too is I'm just going to smack the dealers right upside the head. It's the attitude of the service department when the customer is there trying to get an appointment and get serviced.
Too hard to get in?
Too hard to get a live person on the phone who's nice and friendly.
You don't like the automated phone systems? Press 1 for NASA.
You know what? Forget the
press 2
phones.
for
Just
forget about it.
Let me just
press
book
3.
online with my phone, text, and just all that. So things are changing. But
What
retention's-
percentage of your customers book online in your shop?
We're at 22% right now.
Wow.
We're trying to move that number up.
I love it. So
Absolutely.
that's terms you should know. Retention, it is how many of your customers come back.
And remember, the service advisor holds the key to that, and every person that touches that customer during the transaction plays into that retention role.
Great point. Okay, now to the big content here, selling maintenance.
Yeah, but did you know I found a time machine?
No.
No, seriously, absolutely. I
Like
found
a DeLorean?
similar to that, but the cool part is we can have every customer take a ride in this time machine. Do you know what it is?
No.
It's vehicle maintenance. So think about this. What's the one thing as a service advisor that customers say no to pretty much regularly or easily? They neglect their car. They say no to maintenance. Why is maintenance easy for a customer to say no to?
Tell me.
Well, because if you say no, when you leave, the car doesn't run any differently than it did before it came back. Like, wouldn't it be great if the
Oh,
manufacturers...
because you don't notice a difference in performance.
Yeah, but think about this. If the manufacturers programmed the cars that if you were overdue for maintenance, the car would literally shut off and stop on the side of the road until you maintained it, or the car would break down. That just doesn't happen. So I was thinking the other night, and I'm like, okay, how do we help service advisors and dealerships increase their maintenance revenue? Because parts revenue is under attack, parts profit is under attack because of online venues. And I thought about this. What if you could help your customer understand that today they're in a really good position to step into the time machine and save 800% or get a return on their money of 800%?
So for every dollar you make $800?
$8.
For every dollar you make $8. Okay.
Yes, that is the math. Maybe the tequila's working too much and my brain's not there.
No, I'm wrong. You're right.
But yeah, what if you could get an 8-to-1 return on investment for every dollar that you spend? Well, maintenance does that. Studies have shown that for every dollar of maintenance that a customer invests in a car, it actually prevents approximately $8 of repairs down the road. Now, in the independent world, what happens is we see a lot of cars that are on the repair plan, and you'll see it too in the dealership. But a lot of the dealerships take really good care of their customers' vehicles, so they're on the maintenance plan. It's cheaper to drive a car on a maintenance plan than it is for a repair plan. So we want to get the customer out of repair land to get them back into a proper maintenance plan. And the way we do that is by selling maintenance. So the time machine is this. If you say yes to maintenance today, what you're doing is going 3, 4, 5, 10 years into the future, and you're preventing that transmission from failing. You're preventing an internal failure. I can't go out 5 years when that internal failure happens and flush the fluid or change anything. There's not a chemical I can put in your transmission to fix it once it's broke, but we can do it today and prevent it in the future. So we have a time machine moving forward, but go 5 years from now, if you said no to the transmission service today, I can't take you back in time and do it.
Yeah.
So that's where the time machine aspect comes in.
And it really applies to power steering, transmission. Like, I see more power steering racks, like,
Oh,
and there's just metal chips in there.
Oh, absolutely. And power
crazy.
steering racks are we're doing a lot. We're probably doing 3 or 4 a week right now at our shop. Yeah.
But it could be prevented.
Absolutely, it can.
But the problem, too, is the manufacturers don't tell them to...
It's not in a maintenance book
Yeah,
anymore. Right.
but man, they need it.
Absolutely.
It could
So
be prevented. I like that analogy of a time machine because it's huge.
And the core of what we do as trusted service advisors is create a customized maintenance and repair plan tailor fit for you and your car. So I am going to step outside of what's in the book. I am going to step outside of what the factory has recommended, because keep in mind, when the car manufacturers design these maintenance schedules, they design them for a number of reasons.
To sell more power steering racks.
Well, to sell the car. So if I'm Ford and I'm designing the F-150, but my cost of ownership for the first 100,000 miles is $2,500, and Chevy and Dodge is at $1,200 for maintenance, who's going to sell more trucks? So I've got to be competitive on the maintenance. So that's where extended service schedules have come out. That's where all these fluids have come out. But now we're seeing just a labyrinth of deep, expensive repairs between 100 to 300,000 miles because the system was neglected in the first 100,000. So what we want to do is customize the maintenance plan for our customer, help them understand. We're going to put you in that time machine, take you into the future so you can save that money.
Do you actually say that to the customer at time of write-up?
During write-up, we talk about their timeline, and then if I do get an objection with the sales presentation,
You talk about the time machine.
I talk about the time machine. Absolutely.
And yeah, so it's like a crystal ball. Like you could say like, hey, I got a crystal ball.
Yep.
That you already kind of know this, and everybody knows that if you maintain your car,
Yep.
you're going to save yourself money in the long run. But it's hard in the moment to do it, and you procrastinate.
Right.
But it is a time machine.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, and we've all had those instances where we wish we could go back in time and make a different decision, but today you have the power to make the right decision and say yes to your maintenance so we protect your car for the next 3 to 5 years. So is it okay to go ahead and move forward with the maintenance today, Chris?
Yes, sir.
And you got to close. You got to ask that closing question. And it's right there. So that's something that we're working with we're getting great results with our coaching clients, and we're seeing a ton of approvals, and customers are happier. So they are. We're preventing the breakdowns. It's great.
Yeah, preventing the unforeseen breakdowns, right? Well, great show. Did you have fun?
I did.
I had a blast. Cheers with tequila.
Cheers.
We want to thank you for tuning in. If you're watching it on YouTube or listening to it on your favorite podcast outlet, is that how you'd say it? Network, whatever.
Absolute channel.
We hope you have a great week. Keep your ears out this week for a drive-by on Friday, and we'll see you again real soon. Thanks. Thanks for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.